We just have to keep expecting the best, planning for the best, even though we need to prepare for the one. They say prepare for the rainy day. Don't just prepare for the rainy day, prepare for a flood. Right? Yeah. So you don't act like as though you're planning a wedding. Imagine, oh, I'm planning a wedding, and just say, yes, I'm going to get married. You need to consider the indices. Yeah. Plan a wedding. I want to have an open door wedding, open garden, open field, and then you're going to put it in July. That's planning for the best, which is a wedding, but not preparing for the worst, the possibility of rain. So what do you see? Let's just start that quickly. Quickly type in what you see. What's the first thing you see? Don't overthink. This is going to go down in history as a vacation, really, a COVID vacation for many people. Are we rejuvenating, or what are we doing? When, in hope that we ever come back to normal, we are going to be doing a lot of, many organizations may not take a vacation again. Many may not go on the leave again because organizations probably trying to get themselves back together. So, hey, we're on a vacation. How are you spending your vacation? What are you doing? How are you rejuvenating? How are you resting? Listen to music. Are you listening to music, or just relaxing and having the time of your life? Or like many people, are you spending it in uncertainty and anxiety? In this time, there are many people that will be here. Before now, we've all been trapped in this routine, trapped in a routine of every day, we're just running. Everybody's running to work. There's a process, and we keep running. It's the same cycle. Monday comes, it's okay. The week starts on Sunday. Sunday, like, oh, before you know, Sunday is over. I'm like, oh my goodness, tomorrow's Monday. It's anxiety. Monday meetings, Monday strategy, and all that. And then Monday comes, and then Tuesday, and then Wednesday, and by Thursday, I'm like, okay, thank God, tomorrow is Friday. I can't wait. And Friday comes, like, yay, yippee, yes. Now I can have the time of my life. And before you know, Saturday, oh, I have a wedding to attend, or fast Saturdays for parties, and you attend the party and all that, you come back knocked over, and before you know, it's Sunday, and then you run to church or whatever religious center, and then it's like, where did the weekend go? It's already Sunday evening, and then you start all over again. So we are trapped in a routine and we're running, but many a times we haven't stopped. We hardly ever have the time to stop and check why we are running, where we are running to, how long we're going to run for, and how fast we need to run. We're just running. But it's quite important that we ask ourselves, why am I running? Why are you running? Why are you? From the onset, you need to define the chase before the race. Define what you're chasing after. They said, when we're running, if anybody's running at all, it's two things. It's either something is chasing you or you're chasing something. Whatever is chasing you will determine how fast you run. And whatever you are chasing will also determine how fast you run. So what exactly are you chasing, or what is chasing you? If it's a little cuddly chihuahua that is chasing you, the way you're going to run, if it's a chihuahua chasing you, is going to be totally different if it was a Rottweiler chasing you, or a cheetah or a panther chasing you. Your race is going to be different. And what you're chasing after is also going to determine how fast you run or how slow you run. So we always have to determine why we want to run before we even start running at all. So is it going to be a quick dash, or is it going to be a marathon? So if you are doing a quick dash, what you need is speed, because it's a 100-meter race, even a 200-meter race, you need speed. But for a marathon, you don't just need speed, you need more of stamina, because you are going a minimum, you're going 42 kilometers. For 42 kilometers, you need stamina. You need your body not to pack up on you. You need your body not to crumble on you, because at some point your body will just tell you, I can't take this anymore, and it could shut you down. I've heard of people running marathons and they just go wacko from there. They just lose their minds. Why? Because their system shut down, because suddenly it was losing too much water. I got into dehydration and they just snapped, right? They just had a psychological snap. So it's a lot of mental work. It's a lot of physical work. You need stamina. You need all of that. So you need to ask yourself, if I want to run, am I going for a dash, or am I going for a marathon? When we say, I don't have time, I'm too busy, I'm not sure of how I would do it. And we continue in our cycle up until there's a root shock that comes and disrupts our entire thinking process, that comes and cuts us short on our paths, that comes and just totally breaks our flow. So it took this happening for us to realize that, oh, hey, so there can actually be something that can break that flow, that can just bring about a change in perspective, a change in thought process, a change in so many things. And so how do we now find this balance? How do we balance between our work and our life? How do we balance between the negatives and the positives that life will throw us? How do we find our balance? How do we find a good standing so that we do not fall completely on our backs and are unable to stand up again? So Isaac Newton, in 1665 and 1666, yes, between 1665 and 1666, I beg your pardon, 1666, there was a bubonic plague. And in the course of that period, everybody, like we're being told to do now, we're told to sit in their homes and just sit and don't go anywhere. It was in that period he sat down, he took to reading, he took to studying, he took to researching, and he discovered what we now know world over as calculus, what we now know world over as the law of gravity, and what's the other one, optics. So he discovered it in that period. So what are you doing in this period of, this is a very good period for self-reinvention. What are we doing in this period? How are we committing ourselves? How are we making the best of this period? In times like this, opportunities will always come. Sometimes opportunities come as closed doors, and it's not a thing of, can you seize what you see? Can you? The doors are apparently doors of opportunity, but sometimes on those doors, unconsciously in your mind, you hear such things, you see such things boldly written on the door, like, hey, knock if you dare. Don't even bother. Who do you think you know? Right? Who do you even think you are? You're not worth it. Don't come knocking. So these are different things and different scenarios that play in our head. And sometimes we see opportunity, the doors of opportunity. And what happens? We do not turn the key. We do not even go near the door. Speak less of touching the key or turning it, right? And even worse, some other times opportunity comes to us as open doors. So it's not a thing of, are you ready or not? Are you prepared to spot it when you see it and then to seize it when you have spotted it? So how ready are you for opportunities when they come? And opportunities may not necessarily tell you, hey, I am coming, I'm on my way. No, opportunities come, and it is very important that we seize opportunities in the lifetime of those opportunities. They may come again, but they may have gone a full cycle and you may have lost time, strength, and even the vigor to be able to take it on and charge through it. So in the time before those opportunities present themselves, presently, we seem to have a lot of time to our hands. What can we do? How can we prepare ourselves so that whenever an opportunity comes, we can easily spot it, we can easily seize it, right? And for our best interest. And then what are the threats that face us? Have we been able to identify these threats? Can we evaluate them so that we can take a decision on how to deal with these threats? Threats will certainly come. They come in different forms. It could come as human beings, it could come as things, it could come presently as the coronavirus. Identify it, evaluate it, and decide on what to do about it, right? And one of the reasons why we do not really take on the threats that face us is because of fear. Fear. The truth is, fear is one of the greatest things that will stifle any human being. A plague just came out. The plague said and told some people, say, I'm going into that city, I'm going to kill 5,000 people, and said the plague was, for example, the plague was Ebola. So this is just an illustration or just a latest story. And then the person that Ebola was telling, I'm going to kill 5,000 people in that, he said, please don't go, please. Don't say, no, I've made up my mind, I'm going to kill 5,000 people. And 1 hour later, news got to the person that Ebola was telling that he was going to attack, was telling the story, that 50,000 people died. So when Ebola came back, the person was not asking Ebola, why did you do that? You said you were only going to kill 5,000 people. You didn't keep to your word. How could you have killed 50,000 people? And Ebola said, it's not me. I said I was going to kill 5,000 people. I'm a disease of my word. I killed only 5,000. The remaining people died of the fear of Ebola. So in times like this, we have to be careful how we allow fear get the best of us, because there are some people that would just die from the fear of a thing even before the thing comes, which is why a lot of people say fear is false evidence appearing real, right? But Zig Ziglar says fear is forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. Now, before you can when you get to the point where you forget everything and run, you're totally surrendering. That means you are at your wit's end. You don't think you can do anything again. So you run for your life. That's what they say, flight. You flee, you run for your life. But then if you want to face everything and rise, that means you're like, who is this mountain before Zerubbabel? Who is this? Who is this thing? What is this thing? I can take you down. And then you engage. Now, in engaging, you could be swallowed up or you could win. Now, whatever it is, I mean, you do not get into a place without first counting the cost of what you want to do in that place. So before you take on the challenge, you want to have checked yourself to find out, do I have the capacity to take it on? If you do not have the capacity, learn to be true to yourself. At this point, the run you are going to do is going to be different from the run of surrendering is going to be a different run from the run of retreating. So surrender and retreat are two different things. When you're surrendering, you are giving in. When you are retreating, it's running away to recalibrate, to build capacity, to build strength so that you can come back and take it on. So that is why I added to this to say, sometimes fear could also be figure out everything and relaunch. Step back, retreat. You have seen a mighty giant. Oh, no, 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 I can't take it on. Let me not lie to myself. Let me just run away. Let me run away now. Not running away because I am afraid to engage, but running away because I need to go and figure out how to take on. Do I need to build capacity? And what's that capacity I need to build? We're going to be talking about it when we're talking about the journey of self-discovery to mastering. We're talking about shortly. So facing fear, so these are the three things for fear. Do you want to forget everything and run? Do you want to face everything and rise? Or do you want to figure out everything and relaunch? What are your options? What are your numbers? So move from self-awareness to self-appreciation to self-improvement, self-application, self-assessment, and then to the place of self-mastery. Now let's try and break this down. Between your identity and getting your SWOT, these are the 7 levels. Yeah, 7 levels altogether. So from self-discovery, which we already started by asking, we already started by talking about, is ask yourself these questions. Who am I? How am I? What do I do? Why do I exist? What am I chasing after? What do I want? Why do I want what I want? How do I achieve what I want? And when will I achieve it? So ask ourselves all these questions and do our best to provide the best possible answers to these questions while we are there. And then when we go through that, we'll come to a place of self-awareness to be more conscious of who we are, right? And then this is what will now make the decision whether we want to remain the same or whether we want to change, and vice versa. So who we discover ourselves to be, if we're satisfied with it, then we can choose to remain the same. If we are not, then we can now choose to change. However, whatever your choice is, your choice to change must be stronger than your choice to remain the same. And vice versa, otherwise nothing is going to happen, okay? So at this point, when you have now made the decision of what you have become aware of about yourself, then you set a goal. You now set a goal for what you want to achieve. So everything we talked about, your identity, you have to set a goal for what you want out of that identity. However, appreciation is very important. Sometimes we expend ourselves so much and we forget to appreciate how far we have come. Appreciate how far your strength has carried you. Appreciate how far you have invested yourself. Appreciate how far or how much you have applied yourself. Appreciate the journey thus far. It is worth clapping for yourself. It is worth encouraging yourself. It is worth celebrating yourself for on the journey to where you want to get to. So acknowledge and recognize the journey thus far, acknowledge your capabilities, acknowledge your potentials. When you have acknowledged them based on the goal you've set for yourself, you now commit to self-improvement. Self-improvement, this is where you now talk about, what am I going to start? What am I going to stop? What am I going to improve? What am I going to start will require, what do I need to learn? Do I need new knowledge, new skill, new abilities? Okay, do I need to learn new behaviors? Do I need to learn new habits? That's what I need to learn. What do I need to stop? What do I need to unlearn? Do I need to unlearn beliefs? Do I need to unlearn values, behaviors, habits, and patterns? Do I need to unlearn some knowledge that I have acquired which were not true and get new knowledge, right? And then on the self-improvement is also where you ask, what do I need to improve? What do I need to relearn? Do I need to relearn skills, behaviors, values, skills, beliefs, values, behaviors, habits, and patterns? What do I need to relearn? Now, when you've gone through this process of self-improvement, having specified exactly what you want to improve yourself on, then you apply yourself. You come to the stage of self-application where you now engage what you have improved yourself based on. This is where you outrightly face your fear. Because in application, there will be fear of, I can't do it, I'm not good enough. There will be the fear of, how are you sure this is what is required? But you will never know what you can do if you do not go for it. You will never know what you can. You will never know how well you can do or how well you will not do if you don't apply yourself. So, hey, whatever it is, just apply yourself. Engage it. Then based on your engagement, you'll know whether you're good enough or not. Because after that, you will come to the place of self-assessment. So the place of self-application is where you would take the risk. Calculated risks, though. You take the risk in self-application to say, let us apply ourselves. You never know what you can achieve. And when you have done that, you self-assess. This is where you ask yourself, what could I have done better? All right, what I did, what result did it give me? Evaluating my results and my outcomes against my goal, because you can only apply yourself based on the goal that you have set. Remember, we talked about setting a goal in awareness, on the self-awareness stage. So when you have applied yourself based on how you have improved yourself in line with the goal that you want to achieve, you assess your results against the goals that you set. Now, if your results are good, fantastic, you come to the self-mastery directly. If your results are not in line with your goal, then you return to the appreciation stage. Appreciate how far you have come. Appreciate the fact that you even tried and it didn't work. Appreciate yourself thus far. And then go through the process again. What have I learned? What could I have done better? Now you want to improve again, apply again, and assess again. So it's a mindful repetition of the appreciation, improvement, application process, assessment process, up until you come to the place of being an expert on your current level, and you remain this or you remain the same. So it's either you remain the same or you change. Do you want to remain the same or do you want to change? An expert on this level does not mean you're an expert for life, because this is just one level. Imagine that for every time in life, everybody doesn't just stay on year 4. In primary 4, you grow from primary 4 to primary 5. So in life, we keep moving in stages. For every stage you attain mastery, you go to another stage and you start from discovery all over again. To keep applying yourself, whether what's the way you applied yourself for the first level, will it work for this new level? If it doesn't work, what else do you need to do? So we have to be constantly mindful of how we engage ourselves, how we apply ourselves, and remember that our identity is formed by our environment, what we see, what we hear, what we experience. Those determine our values, and those values will outrightly determine how we behave, our habits, and our lifestyle. So if we want to change our lifestyle, if we want to change our habits, we'll have to change what we have seen, heard, and experienced are interpreting things to us and making us to behave according to a value that was shaped by that environment, right? So it all needs to go back to the environment, a mental space, a psychological space, and make the intentional effort to change. So this is a time, I mean, when is a better time that we are all home sitting like this and just are we just going to be watching Netflix? Yes, whatever, however you think is best to apply yourself this period. Just make sure it's a great time that you're able to use to review how far, reset yourself so that you can reinvent yourself and realign with your vision, with your personal, your business, and your life vision. So it's all a matter of what you see. Remember, we started this session with what do you see? What's right about perceptions. So in this case, I'm asking, what do you see about yourself? What vision? We talked about vision. The vision now is, what do you see about yourself that you want to set a goal for? Is based on what you see. You have to always start from the end in mind. You have seen an end, and then you come to the present to work it out. Muhammad Ali says, your hands cannot hit what your eyes don't see. And I try to reframe them to say, your hands cannot embrace a future that your eyes have not yet first pictured. So your hands cannot embrace what your eyes have not pictured in your mind. So what are you picturing in your mind? What pictures are you creating, right? To move you from where you are to where you utmostly desire to be. What picture do you see? What do you see? Where do you see yourself in beyond post-COVID-19? Where do you see yourself post-2020? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you see yourself? Some people say, oh, we're not sure. Well, let's just live in the moment. Live each moment like as though it was your last, but prepare like as though there's a tomorrow, right? So we don't want to all plan, and not prepare. You plan for the now, you prepare for tomorrow. But make sure that every moment you're living it optimally and you're giving the best of yourself. So when you have seen whatever you have pictured now, set a goal in that area. Set goals. Set goals according to how, okay, this thing I have seen, how am I going to achieve it? When do I want to achieve it? In 10 years, 15 years time? Set short, mid, and long-term goals in line with what you have seen to now begin to plan and work towards how to achieve these goals in the best possible time along